I have one goal by the end of this year, and that is to platinum every single LEGO Marvel game there is. I platinum LEGO Marvel Superheroes, and today we'll be platinuming LEGO Marvel Superheroes number 2. It has 46 trophies, I have to do 2 playthroughs, and it should take me about 50 hours altogether. We beat LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2, and then we move on to LEGO Marvel's Avengers. This will be the last one, and it takes a lot of scenes from the LEGO Marvel Avenger movies and Age of Ultron. So I really cannot wait to play it. Today, we focus on Superheroes 2. We start off with the Guardians of the Galaxy flying into Xandar to help defend it. That's where we get to meet Kang the Conqueror, the main boss of this game. He ends up sending a Celestial after us. I hope I'm saying that right. After we take it down, we find out that's just one big distraction for him to send down his transport beacons and to fly off to planet Earth. As we escape, we earn our very first trophy. All the Avengers are partying, having a good time. We meet Gwenpool, we see her pink cubes that will give us extra bonuses later on, and boom, my game crashes. And this happened a lot. This game was very broken sometimes. As stuff's going on around the planet, something's going on in Siberia, we go find out what's happening, it ends up being the presence behind it all. We take him down and then we end up moving on with Iron Man and Captain Marvel. They're on a mission to stop Atuma, who's planning an unknown attack for some odd reason. After destroying the base, we question everything, we're trying to figure out what's happening. We will find out later, just so you guys know. The one thing I love about this game is it shows me so many different interesting characters in this game, like White Tiger. I had no idea who she was, never heard of her, but now I know who she is because of the LEGO Marvel game. We join her, Spider-Man, and Miss Marvel to fight on many Spider-Man characters like Shocker, Mysterio, Kraven the Hunter, and the Doc Ock. We take them all down and then Kang the Conqueror arrives. He drops more of his transport beacons and ends up taking over the city. And now we're in his world, Chronopolis. Very interesting story so far, I want to say, for a LEGO game. And now we have options to pick between each team. No matter what, you have to end up doing every single mission, but we pick Team Cap first. We end up meeting the Black Knight to go help save his castle, and then I end up meeting a guy I have no idea who it is, Nathan Garrett. Doctor Strange ends up revealing him, and now we are trapped in a situation we don't want to be in. We end up overtaking the castle anyway because we're them, and we end up getting a trophy for it and saving the real Black Knight. We end up choosing Team Black Panther now, we end up chasing Claw. He ends up getting away, but he leads us to a fight against Manape.
I thought I could smell your unique odor.
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
We end up chasing down Claw, we take him down, and then also Zemo comes along and we take him down also, and it puts an end to both of them. This scene is so out of line, it's funny, it's hilarious. Whoever added this part was goated.
My apologies. I mistook thee for a hideous swamp creature.
Huh?
I mean, obviously a very attractive hideous swamp creature. Have you had your hair done? It looks very swampy. I mean, swanky.
We end up going against Man-Thing. We take him down, but we learn that he was protecting the Nexus. We end up doing Kang's dirty work. He ends up destroying the Nexus, and it ends up connecting all worlds together. So now Kang the Conqueror has everything he needs to take over. And as you guys see there, all worlds are connected in its own little way. With Kang taking over everything, we need our own powers, so we find a power source and it's in MODOK's chair. Of course, we end up taking him down with a couple of chickens out of all things, and we end up taking his chair. As we take the chair back, Doctor Strange ends up explaining how we need the Nexus shards scattered all over the universe to take down Kang the Conqueror. But we will need Heimdall's help, but we cannot find Heimdall in our Asgard, so we end up going to a different Asgard in a different Thor's universe. As we make our way to Asgard, we end up seeing Loki's here and Mighty Thor. But before we can ask anything, Surtur ends up appearing, and we have another boss fight on our hands. We weaken him, and Mighty Thor ends up taking him down, and we recruit Heimdall.
Heimdall, thank the World Tree you survived.
We jump to Doctor Strange and we're looking for the Book of Vishanti. I hope I'm saying that right again. There's so many weird words. We look at Doctor Strange's safe spot and it's not there, but we see Mordor walk out with the book after going to the bathroom. And of course, we need a boss fight, so he doesn't want to give the book back easy, so we fight in the mirror dimension. We take him down and end up getting the book. Sheboygan, another trophy. As we return to HQ, we see Heimdall has located every single Nexus stone, and now it's time to set up teams. I went with the Guardians of the Galaxy first because they're one of my favorite in the Marvel universe. We end up running into Rowan, who has the Nexus shard, who ends up having full power over it. We take him down, and then the episode ends with a cliffhanger, which is actually pretty cool because this is very different from most levels. As we're still looking for our first fragment because the Guardians had to deal with something else, we end up getting captured by Atuma. We get sent to Sakaar, where we end up having to go against the Red King, who's in control of a bunch of Hulks for some odd reason.
Yes! I have to get off this planet.
He's a friend from work.
We take down the Red King and end up getting a trophy. Now we can continue our mission, but with Hulk on our side, we end up taking down Atuma and getting our first fragment. Next stop was Egypt, where we have to locate another fragment. We end up running into Loki, who has the fragment, and he ends up summoning a mummy who we have to take down. We take down the mummy, we take down Loki, and we get our fragment. I end up needing a little break from the story mode, so I go for the trophy, Grandmaster Greetings, where I have to play the Capture the Infinity Stones in Grandmaster mode. We get introduced to the Inhumans for the first time in this game, and we end up meeting Maximus also, who ends up being a boss fight. We take him down and he gives us information about Ronan, so that's where we head next. As the Inhumans arrive, we see Ronan is still down for the count, and we see who the mysterious voice was from earlier. It ends up being the Supreme Intelligence, and he has full control of each of the Guardians of the Galaxy. We have to take down each of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we end up beating them all, and then Rocket ends up shooting a rocket at the Supreme Intelligence, which ends up in lockdown. We end up asking if the Inhumans will join our side, and we end up getting a fragment.
They obviously intend to restore the Nexus, but for what purpose?
As Kang is onto us, we continue our missions, and we end up having to make a character, which gives us the trophy Operation Rebirth. We end up seeing Iron Fist, Daredevil, and Spider-Man work together to take down the Kingpin, who ends up dancing to his own music. That's his weak spot. Whoever came up with that is actually pretty clever. Like, that's kind of different, to be honest. We follow Iron Fist to go take on the Steel Serpent. I feel like I'm saying a lot of these names wrong. I don't know, but we end up trying to find a fragment. I thought this was visually one of the best fights in the game. The dragon, the fire, everything really looked good, but we end up getting the fragment and we continue our journey. We end up catching up with the Spider-Man and Spidey-Womans and meet a new Spider-Man along the way. And we also see this Carnage/Venom symbiote. This is probably in the comic book. I don't know. I've never seen it, but this game is very comic book accurate, I heard, and it just looks amazing. The Green Goblin ends up joining in on the boss fight, which is totally unfair, but we end up taking them both down and getting a fragment along the way. With having all the fragment shards, now it's time to build the device to call in Nowhere. We accidentally call in Ego though, and now we have to defend our device from Ego. We take him down pretty easy, and then we call in Nowhere to set off the EMP blast. Cosmo does so, and it takes down all of Kang's defenses. This is where Kang shows his true power and takes down all of Captain Marvel's troops that she calls in. Kang still has a backup plan though, and with his defenses down, he needs that backup plan, and he calls in his one big sword of a ship. We get inside that ship to go fight Kang the Conqueror.
Hologram? Well, if we can't hurt him, he can't hurt us.
Spider-Man is right, but of course, it's Kang the Conqueror and he has a backup plan. Again. He calls in a god called Korvac, who should not even be beatable, to be honest, but of course, it's a Lego game, so we take him down easy peasy.
How is this possible?
Kang the Conqueror ends up being very petty and takes down his own ship to try to wipe us out. That is the most petty thing to do. You have a cool, awesome sword ship, and you take it down yourself out of self-petty to try to take us down. 3 people. There's only 3 of us. As we start a fight against Kang's troops, we go find Kang and we take him on in the final boss fight of the game. I think this was one of my favorite boss fights out of all the Lego games I have played, because this one was just so interesting. Him bringing back people that we fought from the past in the game, just every little detail in it was really exciting. And this man really decides to have a glow up, and I mean legit, like he has a glow up. He goes big. He gets big.
Sense of scale.
What happened? Kang sucker punched us. He wants me to fight.
But seriously, look at him. He's a giant, so what do? We turn into a giant with Captain America and have ourselves a giant fight.
Get off me, woman.
We take him down, and his lady betrays him and turns him into a baby, and that's how the story ends for the main missions.
Aha!
Oh, don't drop it. I just heated it up.
I am Groot.
No, don't just... Well, this ain't worth any amount of money.
Now for the weird trophies, like having 2 kings in the same party, or King Roman Egypt, for example. Also, that's another trophy. Having 2 Groots in the same party, Baby Groot and Big Groot. Collecting all the mini kits were pretty bad also. That one was a grinding one. That one took forever. And the side quests, some of them were broken and I had to complete all those. Those were grinding also. It's just, there's so many side quests and I had to repeat most of them. I would say, like, not most of them, I would say 30, 40, 50% of them I had Let it repeat. As we continue, we get Road Rage 2, where you have to smash 100 vehicles. Are you not entertained to destroy 100 enemies using the Hulk from Thor Ragnarok? Tis but a stretch. Defeat 30 enemies using the Black Knight, Nathan Garrett. And then we move over to the Gwenpool missions. We're all kind of pointless in my opinion, so I'm not going to show them. We just unlock her, and that's another trophy. Hero's job is never easy, is when you rescue all the Stan Lees. There are 56 of them where you have to rescue them all if you have the DLC downloaded. Don't Stop Believer, obtain True Believer on 36 different levels. Another gold brick on the wall, and that's collecting all the gold bricks. There are 279 gold bricks. This was a grind and it sucked. And here's one of the DLCs where I'm dancing with Baby Groot. I will explain the DLC at the end of this video. Enough said is witnessing the 100% Lego stud fountain, which there is no fountain in this game. I don't know what they're talking about. Usually there's a cool little thing they have, but this one just gave 100% in the game. We finally purchased all the characters also, which unlocks another trophy. Bing Fang Fanboy is where you have to put certain characters in the same group. Same for Monster Squad, and also Dog Meat Dog. Dancing in the moonlight. You have to get 5 people to dance with you. And now for the final 2 trophies, you have to take a selfie with the Sentinel, and then we unlock the Platinum, baby. Let's go, baby. Yes. Time to put things right. This game was very different. I just want to say for the DLC, I did not do the DLC trophies because it broke this game. I had to uninstall the game, reinstall it, uninstall it, reinstall it like a couple of times. It was a pain. Before you guys go, I just want to give my quick review of this game. I didn't think it was a great sequel. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be great. I thought it was going to build off number 1, and I felt like it felt short. It was a great storyline. It had a lot of things going for it, but the bugs, it crashing, me having to play missions over and over again really killed it for me. And in my opinion, I don't like this many characters in one game. It didn't feel unique enough to have that many characters. A lot of the characters felt the same. It didn't really live up to that many characters. Like seeing it all, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so fun. But then it just felt overwhelming over time. I would give the game a solid maybe 7 or 6 around there. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone for a Lego game. I'd much rather play maybe Lego Avengers. Maybe that's the next game I will platinum, or maybe Lego Superheroes #1. I would seriously recommend those games for recommending this game. That's my honest quick review of this game. Let me know what you guys thought about this game. But until next time, I'll see you beautiful people later. God bless everyone. Have a fantastic day.